There we go. All right, so trying a little bit of a new-ish setup. I have it tracking me, so we'll see if that's kind of like nauseating, like almost like, I don't know, like you're on a cruise if you're watching this. And then I have it zoomed in a little bit, so I guess it's just kind of like not so much everything else, but we'll see. Anyway, it is day 15, I believe. Now, I haven't been doing it every single day these past couple days, just because there really is just not much going on. I would like to do it every single day, just for consistency's sake. But if there's really nothing to record, I just, yeah. So, and maybe what I'll probably end up doing is as I get more comfortable with this sort of stuff, is when there's nothing to record, maybe I kind of just like speak my mind about something, like maybe something I learned whenever I was starting the business, because obviously there's valuable information, but like you don't, I guess, necessarily see it as valuable. Man, people drive like idiots here. Yeah, I guess you just might see it as common sense by now, like looking back, but looking back, I'm sure you have plenty of aha moments. So anyway, it's my third time saying anyway, but right now I figured what I would do, just kind of catch up. So had some good lifts, been staying on track, been a little iffy with the cardio, but to be fair, I've also been like, I guess, putting extra work in other places, like plowing the snow and stuff like that. I don't know, but been iffy on the cardio. Now, I'm thinking I might cut back on the calories a little bit. I'm not sure. Scale at this point is pretty much staying the same or going down very, very, very slowly, like borderline not at all. So, but that doesn't, necessarily mean nothing's happening. I could be gaining muscle while losing fat. Scale is staying around the same, but the important thing is to keep an eye on the mirror. Now, initially, for sure, I started seeing some differences in the mirror. Now I feel like I'm not seeing so much, but I don't know if that's just because I'm a little bit leaner. So it takes quite a bit to like actually notice a difference, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I'm teetering. I mean, I try to tell you guys, people drive crazy. I looked away for 2 seconds. There's a FedEx van stopped in the middle of the road. So yeah, I'm teetering on the edge. I'm not really sure. I'm comfortable eating what I'm eating right now, so by no means do I feel like I'm on a cut or anything like that. But I could, yeah, I'm comfortable. It's just not favorable. Obviously, I would like to eat more. So I think, yeah, I'm teetering on that edge. I might have a couple conversations with Grok. Maybe what I'll end up doing is like do a measurement, like do a waist measurement where that, because that pretty much is where like my fat is, and then run one more week and see if my waist moves at all in a week. Now, it really shouldn't move much at all if it does, but that's where I could have a good conversation with Grok, see what it thinks. Maybe it tells me, yeah, like you could lose a whole pound and it won't move that much. Your waist won't move. You'll have to lose like whatever many, or maybe it's like, yes, you will be able to tell. Like you'll have a measurable difference in your waist, even if you're not losing weight, but you're kind of recomping. So we'll see about that. But lifts, everything's been great. I mentioned in a previous one, I have been focusing more on what I'm eating, so not just hitting my macros and hitting my calories and my protein, but actually kind of focusing on the fats and carbs, because I had been overeating in carbs and I felt very like sluggish, or I felt like I was eating less, because fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient. I think off the top of my head, like proteins and carbs are something like 3 calories per gram, and then a fat is like 9. I don't know, I could be off, but it's something like that. A gram of fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient, and it's the least satiating, so you can have a ton of fat and not feel full, and it's the least beneficial in terms of like energy that you feel. At least that's what I've experienced, and as far as what I've read and watched videos on, that seems to be the case. So I have been eating more carbs. One, I get to eat more food, literally. I get more volume of food in my stomach, and 2, I have felt way more like energy in terms of like in the gym, like pump wise. And I honestly have felt like, I don't know, I guess a little bit better, like just throughout the day. I feel like I have a little bit more energy, but that's kind of like, I don't know. But pumps big difference. How my stomach feels in terms of fullness, big difference. So yeah, I would say it is definitely beneficial. Like when I first started, I was like, man, I don't want to like cut out all this fats. I can just hit my calories, eat whatever I want. If I have my protein and my calories, I'm good. I'll eat whatever I want. I don't want to be like, cutting out like oil when I make this, cutting out mayonnaise, cutting out whatever. Like I'll just eat less, but I'll eat what I want. But then I realized like, yeah, that's great because like you are eating what you want, and so it's not really much of a change. It only changes how much of what you want it is that you're eating. So that's the only change, but you're still getting to eat what you want. And then and I just realized my pumps were not good. I didn't feel like great in the gym, and so definitely feel a big difference now that I am eating more carbs. So I would suggest that. It's just so much more beneficial. Again, more food in your stomach, literally more energy in your muscles. Your muscles will also be a little bit fuller depending on how low your carbs were previously and how high your fats were. And then your body, let's say you accidentally, and I won't go into this too much, but let's say you accidentally overeat, but you had a lot of protein and carbs. Your body has to go through a process to then like change that up inside your body and store it as fat, because it comes in one way and your body has to go through a process to turn it into a fat. Now, if you take a fat, you consume a lot of fat, your body is not going to struggle at all. As far as I understand, not a scientist, didn't go to college, don't have any sort of whatever, but as far as I understand, your body does not have to do anything, not anything, but your body has to go, there's not an extensive process for your body to turn a fat and store it as fat. That's part of the reason why there's simple carbohydrates. A simple carb, as far as I understand, and I say that a lot because I'm never going to claim something as a fact because I literally don't know this as a fact, but I have a pretty decent idea, I think. As far as I understand, all the carbohydrates that come into your body goes through a process to turn it into glucose, I think, glycogen. And so I believe that's just sugar. So whenever you consume something that's just sugar, your body does not have to go through a process to use that. Whereas other ones, they're a little slower energy sources. So, I can't name one off the top of my head, but, it's not just straight up. That's why sugar is so quick. That's why people get a sugar high, a sugar rush, because your body doesn't have to do anything. Again, not anything, but it has to do far less, and it's just like instant. It's already glucose. It's already what your body turns into in the end, so your body can just go straight to using it for what it needs it for. So yeah, carbs, depending on what they are, better energy, you'll feel better off of carbs. Everybody's different, but that's my experience. So maybe you go through the same process as me, where it's like, I'll just start off with doing and that's great. You definitely just got to start. But if I could fast forward your brain, you're going to feel better in the gym, feel fuller in your stomach, and your muscles are going to feel fuller. So that's what I would suggest, but it's not the end of the world. Absolutely not. Now, I guess just a quick run through in terms of business. Not much has happened. I've been working the last 3 days. First day, like a $700 job. Second day, like a $4,600-ish job. Today, $360. So not bad. 3 days, something like what is that? 1,300, 1,400. So I dig it. I dig it for sure. Bills got paid. It was getting pretty close, if I'm being honest. I don't know how honest I want to be, but it was being pretty close. So that's nice. Now, and I did decide I just couldn't afford to keep the ads going in terms of paying $650 instead of $350. At the moment, I can't afford to make that change. So right now, we've stopped the advertising. I got to check to see what they actually did. They might have paused the ad and just cut it there, or they might have scheduled it to run to the end of the month since I paid them to the end of the month. But or maybe they just left it. I don't know if they just left the ad running and they're not going to do anything to it anymore. So I got to check up on that. As far as I understand, I still have all those different ad sets. So if I wanted to, I can kind of rerun the one that I just ran for January, and then just change the copy. Maybe just put in parentheses extended into February, because during the video ad it was saying January, month of January only. So I can put extended. But we'll see. We'll see. I might just cut it there. It's just so cold right now. This morning it was crazy cold. I came out, it was 6 degrees, and it said it felt like -7 or something like that. So I got to the shop kind of excited, like, oh, I got my schedule going on my mini split, super dope. I go in there and it's already a cozy 70 degrees in my shop. I went inside my shop and it was 40 degrees. I don't know why, but 40 degrees outside isn't that bad. But for some reason, 40 degrees like inside of my shop feels so much worse. I don't know why, but it felt really cold in my shop for 40 degrees. And it took 2-3-ish hours for it to get up to 60. So I think like my mini split really just struggled once it got that cold, like in the single digits or even like in, the teens. But I mean, it's been 20 and 30 degrees and it hasn't been bad at all. But this was like a huge difference in terms of the temperature in my shop. And not that big of a difference outside, but I guess it was enough, and my mini split just couldn't handle it. So that was unfortunate. Now the last thing I'll say, and this will be pretty interesting in my opinion, is we're gonna run through this card, this UFC main event card, just to see how far off I am. Because I'm not joking when I tell you guys I am so bad at choosing now. I mentioned in a previous clip, I used to be really good in my opinion. I was far less of a casual than I am now. I used to watch every event from the early prelims all the way to the end. I didn't miss a single one. I knew the fighters coming up. I saw the Dana White Contender Series, so I knew what the hell was going on, and I also didn't. I hadn't been watching enough to have the sort of bias or favoritism towards certain fighters and like their history or whatever. And I think now, and I thought I was really good at it. I genuinely thought I was very good at it. But a lot of these older-ish fighters are getting filtered out, and I'm way off on the picks. I just think, I'm just not able to distinguish, for a fact, they are not performing as well, and I'm still holding on to, oh, yeah, but they've done this, this, and this. They're on a different level. So I think I just have a bias for them, and I am just constantly getting kicked in the nuts because, these people are getting filtered out, and I have a bias towards them. And on top of that, I'm not watching the new ones coming up. So these new ones, I'm underestimating and overestimating the older fighters. So, used to be much better at it. Now I suck, but I figured it'd be nice to document it. It'd be kind of fun. And I put some money on these, but all over-unders, none win-loss. So I just kind of threw something together. That one we won't pay attention to because there's, under significant strikes, under a certain amount of significant strikes, I feel like, that's not, I don't know. But win-loss, I feel like we can all kind of put our 2 cents in there. So I'll start from the bottom of the main card. Let me just get this thing parked real quick. All right, so bottom of the main card, because let's see, I don't think I'll even know anybody from the prelims. Hopefully this has been decent and not nauseating. Okay, I do know some of these. I definitely don't know early prelims on this one. It's a whole lot of Asian looking names. I know the Torres Finney guy. I saw him in the Dana White Contender Series. He is 11-0, going against some guy I don't know who's 8-3. The Finney guy seemed to kind of scratch out a decision, in my opinion, if I remember correctly, from the Dana White Contender Series. I'm probably gonna guess he wins, but not in a impressive way. So I'll just say Torres Finney to win. And I know Cody Brundage-ish. I don't know the other guy. Let's see. I'm going to go... I'll go with the other guy, Cam Rouston. I don't know who he is, but I'll go with him. And now this Junior Toffa guy, I do know who he is. He's, I believe, the younger brother of the other Toffa. I forgot his first name. And as far as I understand, he got a contract just because his brother was fighting, and I don't know if he wasn't able to make weight or what happened. Something happened. And so, or maybe his brother did fight that day. I don't remember. I was like, maybe his brother did fight that day on a different card, but a different heavyweight pulled out, and he happened to be there, so they used him. But anyway, I think he's just like a heavyweight brawler. I haven't seen anything that's impressive with him. The other guy's 9-2. I'll probably go with the other guy. Nah, screw it. I'll go Junior Tafa. I mean, I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Same thing with getting like a loss. Same thing with getting a win. Like eventually you're gonna find a win. So maybe and he's heavyweight. It's not you can find a shot. So I'll go with Junior Tafa. I'm gonna have to try to remember these. Now for the main card, I'm gonna go with Quillen. He's pretty good from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything crazy from Malarkey. I honestly think Quillen will get a finish. We'll see. The longer I watch UFC, the longer I feel like 3 rounds is shorter and shorter. It's like the more people get better, the longer it takes. I don't know if that made sense. The better people get, the more high level they kind of are, the longer it takes them to figure each other out. And of course, the game is consistently evolving. So now these earlier fighters are also pretty high level, and so they like take a while to figure each other out. Plus takedowns, stuff like that. It's just so easy to like burn a minute or two feinting. Finally, somebody starts throwing. Then a takedown gets shot. And then, again, they're very technical. They can hold positions and kind of improve for like another minute or two. And it's like a whole round's gone. Nothing really happened. And so, the more I watch, the more I feel like 3 rounds isn't enough. So I feel like that's why finishes are less and less common, because people are more and more high level, that it takes them longer and longer to figure each other out and do whatever it is they need to do. Now, so Quillen, I'll go Tai Tuivasa. I think I also remember Taliesin Teixeira from the Dana White Contender Series. He's 8-1, pretty decent record, but I don't think he's overall that impressive. Whereas Tai Tuivasa is still pretty young. He's 32. He's not the oldest. He's not the youngest, but he's 32, and he had a good run. This is where I'm saying I might be biased because I saw him earlier. But he had a really good run. Like, I think he beat Derek Lewis. He knocked down Cyril Gahn. Like, Cyril Gahn obviously was the better, more technical fighter, but Tuivasa did not make it easy for him at the beginning, I should say. So I'm just going to go Tai Tuivasa. I like Fiziev. I also like Ruffy. The fighting nerd. Fiziev isn't that active, but he's actually, really impressive in my opinion. Those fights with Justin Gaethje, he lost, but I think he did well. Let's see. Damn, he's pretty old too. Not old, but he's 32. I'm going to go Fiziev. I think they'll stay striking. I think Fiziev might even mix in the takedown. And I just see Fiziev winning on points and power. Ruffy is kind of unorthodox. They're like strange in the way that he moves. Like elusive, fluid. And I feel like somebody as technical and tight and as explosive as Fiziev, he's just got to time something really well. Whereas Fiziev is going to get like a lot of points, and Ruffy's going to get less shots, but maybe bigger. Dan Hooker, Benoit. I'm going to go Dan Hooker. I'm not super impressed with Benoit, but like he's like, honestly, these are two that are very inconsistent. Like, I've seen Benoit get like destroyed. I've seen Dan Hooker get destroyed. I've also seen Dan Hooker like put up a crazy fight with like a Dustin Poirier. Like, Dustin Poirier, MMA math is weird, but yeah, he had a war with Dustin Poirier. And like, he's had some very good performances previously. He's had some really bad ones. Benoit also, but Benoit, I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think I should go Benoit, because Dan Hooker just came off of a pretty decent loss. Like, he lost to Arman. It's not like he didn't get touched at all. He got fucked up a little bit. I think I should go Benoit. I'm going to go Dan. I'm going to go Hooker. Now, Lopez Volkanovski. Everything is telling me Volkanovski should win if we're looking at MMA math. He should outpoint him. He should be able to stay at a distance. He should be able to mix in a takedown and stay safe from his submissions and win a decision. Possibly even a finish, although I don't think it's likely. Diego Lopez appears to be pretty durable. But 50 minutes is a long time. They already fought. Diego Lopez already found him, and they seem to not even have a good game plan in the last one. So if they made any adjustments, this is the bad part, is you shouldn't go based off of ifs. I think you should go based off of what you've seen. But I'm going to say Diego Lopez, which is against the MMA math. Because if he made any sort of adjustments and cuts off the cage as opposed to following, and doesn't necessarily find the shot, but finds a couple more than he did before, I think he might get it done. I think we might. And I think we forget Volkanovski's so good that we didn't get to see it in the last fight, but Diego Lopez is like insanely good on the ground. Take like a Movsar. Movsar also insanely good on the ground. Um, and he had him, I mean, I don't know how much trouble he was actually in, but he was able to get him in a lot of submissions. Now, Movsar got all of them all, but he was able to throw a lot up and and kind of, yeah, I mean, he was able to threaten submissions a lot. Volkanovski's really good. I'd imagine he stays in a very safe position, like in a safe ground and pound position, but Diego Lopez has a threat on both sides, knocking out and submission. And I just feel like 50 minutes is a long time. Volkanovski's super good. Nobody can stay perfect forever. The longer time you give them, I think the more it benefits Lopez more and it benefits Volkanovski less, because Volkanovski plays the game better, but Lopez is more dangerous, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Lopez, although Volkanovski should win. So we'll see. Maybe I'll report afterwards. If not, I'll report in the next video. But that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow, start of the week, my lifting week, which is Sunday, and it'll be chest. So I'll see you guys then.